When famous Hollywood stars stopped being seen, rumors quickly spread on social media and in the news. This is exactly what happened with Jason Momoa, the famous Hawaiian actor best known for his roles as Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones and Aquaman in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. While filming the Aquaman movie, Momoa stopped appearing in public, which made people wonder what was going on. However, what investigators found in his fancy London home wasn't good, especially for conservative commentator Jesse Waters, who was speechless. Live TV photos of the event were shared among people in the entertainment industry, and one reaction kept coming up. This is disturbing. Now everyone is asking the same question. Not only what happened, but how could someone who seemed to have it all fall apart so drastically behind closed doors? The Hawaiian actor Jason Momoa seemed to have it all: wealth, fame, and sometimes the ability to keep secrets. But behind the scenes, something strange was going on. It all began in late 2021 when Jason was filming the eagerly anticipated Aquaman sequel in London. The production was already facing delays and budget concerns when news came out that would change everything. Jason had contracted COVID-19, which meant he had to isolate himself and put the entire production at risk. Luckily, Jason is fine and is now isolating after getting a positive test. But it's a real pain for the film's bosses, who are worried that they'll have to delay their tight filming schedule. An insider said what seemed like a minor setback would soon turn into a huge problem. While most celebrities would stay in a 5-star hotel to recover, Jason chose a £20 million mansion in North London, with 8 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, and amenities that would make even the most spoiled stars envious. The production team kept in touch with their star every day, and everyone thought he was handling the isolation well, even taking part in virtual production meetings and posting occasional updates on social media that, as the days turned into weeks, communication got worse. Calls went unanswered, texts were shorter, and sometimes they didn't make sense. We started to worry when he missed 3 scheduled virtual meetings in a row. One production assistant later said the director was understanding, but there was a lot of money at stake with every delay. What no one knew was that behind the gates of the mansion, Jason Momoa's temporary home was becoming the scene of something that had never happened before, a change that made property managers call their lawyers and insurance companies in a panic, a palisade fit for Poseidon. To understand why the discovery was so shocking, picture Jason Momoa's temporary home. It wasn't just any mansion, it was an estate that screamed excess in every way, said On 11. The neoclassical mansion was built on 5 acres of pristine land in one of London's most exclusive neighborhoods. It had a 3-car garage, a private security lodge, and rolling greenery that made sure everyone inside was completely private. No expense had been spared. The home had a professional-grade cinema room where Jason could watch rough cuts of his latest work, a custom bowling alley for entertainment during those long quarantine days. But the most impressive feature was the huge indoor swimming pool, fit for the actor who played the King of Atlantis. It was surrounded by marble columns and was the custom climbing wall that was built at the front of the property said a lot about Jason's personality. The actor, who is known for his love of rock climbing and outdoor adventures, apparently couldn't stand the thought of being stuck inside without a physical challenge. Jason will be living the superstar life even though he is away from home, according to Entertainment News at the time, which showed pictures of the huge property with all of its luxurious features. The master suite alone took up an entire wing of the mansion. The bedroom was bigger than most London apartments. The walk-in closet was the size of a boutique shop, and the bathroom was as luxurious as some luxury spas. Italian marble countertops, gold-plated fixtures, and a shower big enough for 6 people were just a few of the luxurious features that this home offered. The kitchen had commercial-grade appliances that were perfect for making the healthy meals that Jason liked, and a private gym had the latest fitness equipment that he needed to keep his body in shape. Even though he was alone, a wine shop with rare vintages and a game room with everything from old arcade games to the newest gaming consoles provided Jason with a lot of ways to pass the time. What the glossy photos didn't show, though, was what would be left behind when Jason's stay was over. The owners, who had hosted royalty and billionaires without any problems, had no idea what they were about to walk into, and no amount of experience could have prepared them. What they found when Jason Momoa quit the Hollywood lifestyle. Born in Hawaii but raised in Iowa, Jason has always been a bit of a contradiction. A small-town boy with exotic looks who became a global superstar. His path to fame wasn't easy. Before getting his big break in Game of Thrones, he had trouble with being typecast and making ends meet. "We were starving after Game of Thrones," he said in an interview, referring to the time before Aquaman made him famous. Background may explain why, when he finally became famous, Jason threw lavish parties and indulged in his love of fine tequila. His friends said he lived the high life, but despite his growing wealth, he kept up the image of a laid-back guy who didn't take himself too seriously. But as COVID-19 spread around the world, production on Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom ran into many problems. The stakes were very high for the first Aquaman movie. The movie had made over $1.1 billion worldwide, making it the only DC Extended Universe movie to break the billion mark. There was a lot of pressure on Jason to make a successful sequel. His personal life was also changing a lot. His marriage to Lisa Bonet, which had seemed rock solid for years, was starting to show cracks that would eventually lead to their separation. Close friends said that the stress of keeping up a long-distance relationship while filming was taking its toll. When Jason tested positive for COVID, the production team went into panic mode. Film executives were worried about how the illness would affect someone who was used to being active all the time, both physically and socially. What they didn't expect was how being alone would affect someone who was used to being active all the time behind closed doors. As Jason settled into his quarantine mansion, life in London continued to deal with the pandemic. At the time of his diagnosis in late October 2021, the UK was recording health experts said that the country wasn't yet on top of the pandemic, even though vaccines were being rolled out. Inside the mansion, Jason was living in a bubble of luxury, far from the harsh realities that most people were facing. Staff were reportedly told to leave deliveries at the gate and follow strict protocols to protect the star's privacy and safety. For most of us, quarantine meant small apartments, Netflix binges, and endless Zoom calls. For Jason, it meant a personal paradise. Jason was given every kind of comfort imaginable, but his isolation eventually led to behaviors that raised serious concerns. As the days turned into weeks and he recovered from his initial symptoms, production on Aquaman was partially suspended and scenes had to be reworked to accommodate his absence. During this time, Jason's only contact with the outside world was his phone and laptop, which he sometimes used to post on social media. A source close to the actor said that he had started working. Jason met with an addiction counselor and a therapist who specializes in mental health issues related to isolation to talk about some troubling patterns that had shown up during his quarantine. He also talked to a number of environmental activists and told them about his mental state while he was isolated without making excuses for his behavior. Since open and honest conversations finally led to joint efforts to improve mental health in the environmental movement, the making of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was used as a test case for sustainable ways to make movies. Jason worked with environmental consultants to get rid of all single-use plastics from the set. Water stations replaced plastic bottles with reusable containers, and everyone was given one. Cast and crew and strict recycling rules were put in place. Jesse Waters, who at first used the story to show how hypocritical celebrities can be, later admitted on his show that the situation was actually a sign of a larger mental health crisis caused by pandemic isolation. Jason Momoa's state isn't just about one actor's behavior, Waters admitted. It's a wake-up call about how loneliness affects all of us, whether we're popular or not. We all need to connect with others. By the time Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was finished filming, Jason seemed to be in a lot better shape. Friends said that he came away from the experience with a new understanding of Fame's mental health and his duty as a public figure. The London mansion received major repairs to fix the damage. Interestingly, the owners of the property, art experts, said one of Jason's bathroom murals, an underwater scene of great beauty, had real artistic merit. Today, Jason talks freely about his breakdown while he was in quarantine. In interviews, he says that his platform helps to destigmatize mental health problems. What they found in my estate wasn't pretty, but it led me to get help, which I'll always be grateful for. What would you do if you were stuck alone for weeks on end? How do you think fame affects mental health? Having a hard time? Let us know in the comments below.